Alright, it is the 1st of December 2015, it is the end of National Novel Writing Month, and yeah, I completed it. I won it last week, as I said in the last video, and this is the last kind of check-in, talking about the fourth and final week of NaNoWriMo 2015. And yeah, I wrote every single day, which I was very happy with. The first time I did NaNoWriMo was in 2010, so 5 years ago, and I joined about 9 days late. Just got over 50,000 words in. So this time I started on day one and went all the way to the end. Every single day wrote at least 1,667 words or more, and I kept to that goal even after 50,000, just to have something to keep pushing me forward when I felt like I'll leave it at 1,000. No, keep going. 1,667. Then usually I didn't end up surpassing that anyway and getting into some sort of flow. You need to kind of trick yourself into getting into a flow, I feel, or I do anyway. I mean, I'm sure everyone's different, but yeah, I'm exhausted. It was a long month and many late nights writing. That's usually when my productivity is at its highest, and when my creativity feels at its best is when it's late at night. And so again, up to like 4, 5, 6 in the morning sometimes, which is not good on the old body clock. I am a night owl, but yeah, it's not the best thing, I don't think. It's just harder for me to write in the day for some reason, but I have done it quite a bit this month. It hasn't all been. I've done basically every week. I'd go like night session, night session, night session, night session. Next day I'd feel like crap, and then I'd be like, okay, I'll write some in the afternoon, and I'll go to bed, and then the next night I'd feel rejuvenated, then I'd go for another night session. So I need to kind of take breaks from that. But I mean, the whole month has just been exhausting. I've been editing videos, editing stuff for editing jobs I have, but also for my YouTube channel. I mean, all sorts of stuff. Other videos I've got coming up. I mean, so much stuff. It's been the most productive week of. See, my brain is all jumbled up. It's been the most productive month, the most productive month of probably my life in terms of creative stuff. I've written 76,000 words of a book. I have edited around, I don't know, maybe 5 to 6 hours of a video series, and then there's other stuff that I've been editing as well. I didn't edit any of my 2010 NaNoWriMo book, which I said I was going to do, and I could have done it, honestly. There was free time this month, but I needed to just take a break really and not try and push myself too hard with the writing, because then I feel like the writing suffers. So yeah, that was that. I could have done more, but I think I did more than enough this month. And then also the new Star Wars Battlefront game came out, so I've been playing that every night for like an hour or two. So yeah, it all builds up. The time just ticks away and it floats off, and it's where did it go? And then I'm here a month later. A month ago I had a blank laptop screen in front of me, and now I have a folder full of 76,000 plus words and characters and moments and scenes. And yeah, it's been interesting. I want to kind of give a few thanks to people. I won't specifically mention many people, and point out them directly, but there's been quite a few people who have been supportive of me. I've been posting like the Instagram updates, the Facebook updates and stuff, and so the likes and all that stuff, they keep me going. There's been a few positive comments as well from people on Facebook and Twitter, and so I appreciate everyone who did that. I appreciate the people who read some of the early chapters of my book and gave me some feedback on it, particularly the people who had negative things to say. Because once you get past that kind of 2-second sting of like, what? I did something that you don't like? That's impossible. And it's just like, oh, that really hurts my feelings. And oh, wait, yeah, they're onto something there. I always appreciate that as well. But people who enjoyed it and just told me they enjoyed it is appreciated just as much. And also the online community, the NaNoWriMo community, has been fantastic. I tried to get involved in the beginning of the month, but not as much as I would have liked. I kind of like to just isolate myself a little bit, but I was following along with the NaNoWriMo Sprints Twitter account, which is very helpful, where they have someone running the account and telling everyone, write for like half an hour at like half-past, and everyone goes, and then you kind of tweet them your word count and stuff, and it kind of pushes you, it motivates you. As I said before, I finally did a 1K in 30-minute sprint, which I was really happy with last week. So yeah, it's been really cool. I did another word sprint kind of thing with the Word Nerds channel. They did like a kind of Google Hangout writing, which was kind of cool. I saw that NaNoWriMo did a few of those as well, but I just wasn't around for when they happened. So when I saw the Word Nerds were doing one, I thought, well, I'll jump into this, and it was quite good. And I got out like a 1.5k words. So yeah, that was not supportive, but motivating. That's the word I'm looking for. But yeah, so the book is not done. No, 76,000 words, and the finish line is not quite in sight yet. It's winding down, but I still need to get a lot of stuff in before we get to the final line of the book, which has been in my head since I thought of the book. I mean, the whole book idea fell into my lap, and I haven't really talked about it at all. I guess just for consistency's sake, before I tell you about the book, I'll go through my Instagram like I've done every week, and just and give you the update on what I have been not writing, but what I've been feeling about all the individual days. So we'd have to go back to day 24, I think 24. So yeah, let me just get my feed. I got all the posts there, if you can see them. I'll get there. Hang on, it's okay. Just because I'm not saying anything interesting, you can hold your attention for a little bit longer. Here we go. Day 24, 1,777 words. Slowly snaked past the daily goal with great difficulty. Constant self-doubt is plaguing my enjoyment. Yeah, that was not a good night at all. Hated everything I was writing. I was just like, shit. Why am I doing this? Just give up, shit. But I did it, I got past it, and then I just went to sleep. You know, sometimes you just have to do that. Day 25, 3,353 words. Sometimes inspiration just flows out of you. I spent an hour on 2 sentences, true story, convinced I had nowhere to go. But eventually it just happened, and I blasted out 3,000 words, and also a milestone reached on day 25, 65,000 words. That was one where I just basically introduced a character that I had no plans about whatsoever. He just appeared in the book. It just felt like he needed to be there. He was there, fully formed, and it happened, and I couldn't stop writing, and it kind of changed where the ending's going to go a little bit, which is always interesting. Day 26, 2,264 words. Finding my way to the finish line, getting lost. Yeah, just like, what do I have to do before I get to the ending? Like, how do I set this up, you know? Day 27, 1,713 words, barely scratched through this time, but milestone reached 75,000 words. Wait, that is wrong. I put 75,000 words on the Instagram post when I meant to put 70,000, so maybe I can edit that later. So yeah, 70,000 words on day 27. Day 28, 2,097 words. Incredibly hard to get stuff down when you're so far past the 50k challenge and yet so far away from the real finish line, the end of the book. That has been a big struggle for me ever since I got past 50,000. It's like, oh, I won NaNoWriMo, you know. Then it's like, yeah, you're nowhere near done yet. And so it's hard to push yourself when everyone is in the community like, oh, I need to get to 50k, I need to get to 50k, and I'm like, I did that a week ago, you know, what's my motivation? So it was hard to gear myself up for it a lot more than it was pre 50,000 words for sure. Day 29, 1,940 words, practically on autopilot and dying to skip ahead but have to lay more groundwork. Yeah, right, like I have a clue what I'm doing, is what I wrote here. Yeah, I mean, for me, I think with this book, I think my writing's really good. I think my writing is really good. It could be cleaned up. There are bits that I probably repeat myself too much. There's all sorts of things that could be changed. But I think as a writer, I'm pretty damn good. As a plotter, as someone who can weave a cohesive story or pace a story well throughout an entire novel, I feel like I haven't got a clue. I feel like I'm just treading water when it comes to that. Day 30, 1,903 words, and that's a wrap on NaNoWriMo this year. Milestone reached 75,000 words. Final count after 30 days of consecutive writing, 76,113 words. Quite proud of myself, and the Nano community has been great this year. Still more to write though, another week at least, so I push on past the blur of NaNoWriMo to the end of my first true novel. It's been a blast, but I can't slow down yet. Which is true, I can't slow down. I have to write every day. I'm going to write today and the next day. I go home on the 14th of December for Christmas for 2 weeks, and I don't really want to be writing, you know. I get to see my family like, you know, twice a year, maybe 3 if I'm lucky. And when you get to that point in your life, if you do, I mean, there's people who are lucky to find someone who they want to spend the rest of their life with, and you're both in the same general vicinity of both of your families. But that's not the case with me and my fiance. So you know, I'm here, my family is back in the UK, and so the time I get to spend with them is a lot more precious than it used to be, and so I don't want to be spending too much time writing and doing things like that. I mean, I'll do some things, I'm taking my camera, I'll film videos for YouTube and stuff, but writing is, you know, I don't know, I want to get it done before I go home, basically. And it'd be nice to see people and say, yeah, I wrote a book, you know. I don't feel like I can say that yet, even though I've written, you know, so much that could be considered a book. The story ain't finished yet, so there we go. That has been my NaNoWriMo 2015 journey. It's been a blast. I've loved it. I'm really proud of myself, going back to when I was 7 years old. I wanted to write books. I loved stories, you know, Enid Blyton books, fantasy stories, things like that, and I wanted to write my own. And I did write my own, and I never really wrote a full book. I always wanted to, you know. I mean, there's this fantasy book called Mystic World, which I think I started about 20 times, no exaggeration. From the time I was 8 years old to the time I was finishing high school, I had gone through at least 15 different variants of that book. And then there's the Mystica Stones, and my voice is going, so I'll take a drink of this sugarly laced. Try writing 76,000 words in a month and then starting the next month without having a few brain farts. This glass of Coke that's laced with sugar, there we go. My throat was a bit dry, I think. Yes, so I'll leave that in. whatever. Exhausted. What was I saying? Right, yeah, the Mystica Stones. I had this big fantasy story, and then it slips away, you know, and you get interested in other things. And I would say that my primary goal in life is to be a filmmaker. You know, is that going to happen? Probably not. I shouldn't take that pessimistic view, but you know, you've got to be a little bit realistic, I think, and that's probably my downfall, is being realistic. But being an author seems like a more realistic route. It seems easier and more isolated. You know, you're not working with a group of people to create your vision. You're working with yourself to create your vision. It's a lot more singular than filmmaking. Unless you're just doing like really, like, you know, just proper like artsy stuff on your own or whatever, I don't know. But anyway, yes, my goal in life is to be a filmmaker, you know, and that's what they say. If you got to find what you love and then find a way to get paid to do it. But my first dream was to be an author, you know, and that is probably the biggest life goal I have, beyond, you know, like having a happy and healthy family. In terms of a career and things, something that I can do and put out there, it would be, you know, let's be honest, probably the biggest goal I could have would be to actually make a proper theatrical film that gets released and that people like, and it makes a bit of money and I can make more of them. That would be the ultimate dream. But a more realistic one is that I could publish a book, and not just self-publish, but actually get it picked up and published so that it is out there in a bookshop. It's fine being able to order books off Amazon, but to me the mark of being a true published author is when someone walks into a bookshop and they just see a book and they have a look at it. That's all I ever wanted in terms of being an author, and if I can achieve that before I go, that would be a job well done. But as it is, I feel like now that I've rejuvenated the writer in me, and I can only get better from here. And also, maybe I should just do this every year. I think I can. I have a lot of stories to tell, and why not? Why not? And if nothing happens of it, you know, in 20, 30 years, I'll have a collection of books that I've written that I can have on my shelf, and future generations can read them in my family, and that'd be enough as well, you know. So there we go. That's my little kind of personal psychological analysis there. I'm kind of obsessed with self-preservation in a way, and that's kind of what the book is about. This is going on far too long, whatever. Who cares? To the 3 people who are watching this long, hello Ian. Silent Movie Marathon 2 is coming up. It's just, you know, it'll be there. It'll be there on December the 12th. Right, the book. The book is called Messages from Dad. No, I'm not going to mention what just popped into my head. No. Okay, the book is Messages from Dad, and it is about a girl called Aira, who is 18 years old, and her father dies. Spoilers, at the very beginning of the book. her father dies and she doesn't cope with it very well. The book is about mortality, and it's about a legacy in a way, about future generations, past generations. It's about, again, self-preservation, I guess, but mainly mortality and how we deal with it, and ways to maybe subvert it. It's not a paranormal book, it's not a fantastical book, it is a straight drama, but yeah, I don't know how much more I can say about it without spoiling it, but well, no, I'll say it because it'll be in the synopsis. 2 years after his death, on her 20th birthday, and she's been struggling with his death over those 2 years, and there's been ups and downs, and she's been very unsure of herself and all this kind of thing. She receives an email with a video, and in that video is her father at 20 years old, the same age she is as she views the video, talking to her before she's born, and that's the story, that's the book, and it's about her relationship with a guy that she meets, it's about her relationship with her family, it's about her relationship with her father, even though there is nothing in the book where we see or read about her and her father in present day. It's all in the past, it's all retrospective. And there isn't really that much flashback in the book either. It's mainly her watching these videos that he's made for her, and her finding out why he made them, where they're coming from, and maybe things in her family that she didn't know about before, and how, you know, how much do you really know your parents, you know? Have you ever sat down with them and asked them about every little intimate detail of their lives? Do you know what they were like when they were teenagers, you know? Almost like that Back to the Future thing, in a way. Not as as simple as that, as just seeing them exactly as they are, but just kind of wondering about it, and kind of finding out little bits about them that you didn't know, I guess, and how similar you are to them, and how different you are to them, and whether that makes you feel any differently about yourself, I think is some of the themes that run through the book, but mainly it's about death. It's about death and crying and feeling distraught and despairful and depressed and all that kind of good stuff. So that is it. Thank you for watching. It's been a fun NaNoWriMo journey. Again, thanks to people who supported me, and just the Nano community in general, who've been very, just very positive community. I've been around a lot of online communities, the backyard wrestling community, which was fucking vicious. The YouTube wrestling community, which is also slightly vicious, you know, and not very supportive of each other at all. And then the YouTube movie community, which is mostly awesome and positive, but there's a lot of twats around as well. But the NaNoWriMo community, and it seems like the BookTube community, everyone's just cool. Everyone's just cool, you know. It seems like writers are a lot more chilled out, and they're not too, you know, too much of a group of assholes. So, not that the YouTube movie community is, but there are a few select people out there who are just horrible people. And you know, I just haven't found that at all in the NaNoWriMo community or the BookTube community, and I probably won't stick around there, you know, really. I'm more into the movie stuff, but you know, next November I'll probably be back into the whole BookTube thing. I kind of like it, but I don't know, we'll see what happens. I'm blathering on so much, but I need to get it off my chest. Thank you for watching, and as for the book, it will be out next year. If I can't get it published, which is probably, you know, likely, I will self-publish it. And you know, the dream lives on that I can eventually one day have a true novel published properly. But I don't feel like this book is strong enough to be like I don't think a publishing company, excuse me, would look at it and say, yes, we need to buy that book. Ain't gonna happen. I don't think it stands out enough. Yeah, the concept's kind of cool, but it's nothing insanely original. So you know, maybe if the writing, you know, spoke for itself, but we'll see. I'll look into that next year. I've got a lot of work to do. I've got to finish the book first, and then I've got to edit it, and then rewrite it, and it's going to be a long process. So maybe not even next year, but it will be published at some point, and I'll let you all know when it does, if anyone is interested in reading it. That is enough for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
I am called King Computer.